Hello, ladies. Welcome. Welcome to our Friday Facebook Live, your weekly bliss tip coming to you today. And I am so excited to dive into today's very juicy topic, which I will admit I really wanted to do for Valentine's Day, but there was something more in the something else in the pipeline that came up first. So here we are today. It gave me actually a little more time to develop today's topic in ways that I didn't have last week. So it's all perfect. And every day is an opportunity for more love and more magnetism and more healing in that way. So today's topic is all about how to attract a partner without dating, and how to attract a partner by going more deeply within yourself. One of my favorite things to talk about. So this is for all you single ladies, and if you're partnered, you will absolutely get so much value from this in terms of your capacity to cultivate an even more thriving solo practice and more self-intimacy with yourself. So stay with me here. When it comes to being single, let's just say it like it is. Maybe you have been doing all the things. You've been swiping the dating apps. Maybe you hired the matchmaker. You've been keeping yourself totally fit and beautifully toned. You have a great social life. You're doing all the activities, going to all the spots where your man might be hanging out. Maybe you're going on dates, but they're just not going anywhere. Maybe he's more interested in you than you are in him. And at the end of the day, you're just struggling to meet someone incredible. And you're wondering, why can't I, after everything I've done, why can't I meet that special someone amazing? Or on the other hand, maybe you aren't even putting yourself out there because you're just feeling really cocooned and retracted into yourself. And you may be really clear that, yeah, you don't want to go to the grave single, and yet you also know that getting this relationship now just isn't your priority. Maybe you're even convinced, you've decided that in order for you to have this relationship you really want and the one that you're destined for, you actually have to do more work on yourself, or you have to get serious about wherever you or your life needs more cleaning up, more up leveling, more up leveling, cleaning up, doing the personal growth work. And so there's no mystery there. You just know, I am not open, I'm not energetically available for this to happen right now, and yet that desire still burns in your heart. So either way, in either scenario, the way out of this cycle is to actually go deeper within. And this is the work that my clients come to me to get support with. And for today, I'm going to share with you 3 kind of simple doorways into this for you to start exploring for yourself right away. So step 1 is to start to really unravel all the ways that you have been unconsciously keeping him at a distance, by getting radically honest with yourself about all the limiting beliefs you're walking around with that you may not even know you have, by looking at how you are and taking responsibility for how you are creating your reality and questioning if it is in fact the reality you want to continue to create. and then becoming conscious of any thoughts of negativity about yourself, any default stories that are running in the background, such as I'm not allowed to have what I want until I'm perfect, or until I am more fit, or until I'm more successful, or I have more money in my bank account, or I've healed from this childhood trauma, or I'm more, I'm earning more money, or I'm more established in my career, or I'm really like in that sweet spot of my purpose, or I'm more sexually liberated, or more orgasmic, or more spiritually awakened. And the list could go on until I've cleaned up my house or cleaned up my diet. Any way in which you're telling yourself it can't happen, or I don't want him to show up until I've done this, or I've become this, or I've accomplished this, or I've changed this about myself or about my life. As long as you're telling yourself these things, you will stay on that treadmill of never being enough. In terms of limiting beliefs that you may not even be aware of, that could look like believing, like being so convinced that you're ready for him to show up, that you want a soulmate, but in actuality, it's safer to not risk being rejected or being abandoned. You might even be putting yourself out there in all the ways I said above, but deep inside, you're actually still believing you're not attractive enough. You're not lovable. You're not worthy. And you may think you're totally ready for this partnership to land in your lap like yesterday. But the truth is, if you really get honest with yourself, you're really terrified of being that visible, of being that seen, truly seen, all the way in and through to your innermost depths and throughout every aspect of your life. So you're kind of playing invisible, and you have this invisible do not enter sign on your forehead, right? So other ways that these limiting beliefs can kind of be running in the background without us even knowing it, you could be believing there are no good men out there, or it's really hard to meet the right person. As long as you're telling yourself these things, you will continue to prove that right over and over again. So in this way, you want to get really cognizant of not like what is driving the car, what is going on behind the scenes, what is running the show underneath, and then start to question what are the stories that you would have to let go of, that you would have to stop telling yourself in order to be available for what it is you really want. What would you have to start telling yourself, start believing instead? What else could be true here? What's the possibility that you actually want to nurture, that you would have to nurture to create another future for yourself, to create another reality, and start doing that really intentionally? So that's step one. Getting clear on what's running the show really underneath the surface, and is it creating the experience that you want? Is it nurturing the desire that you have in your heart? Is it in service of the vision you have for the relationship of your dreams? Step two is to open your body to love. Now, this step is all about elevating your frequency and running more aliveness and positivity through your system. And I'm going to address this both on the mindset level as well as on the body somatic level. So when it comes to mindset, you want to start focusing on what is so amazing about being single. What do you love about being single that maybe you've been taking for granted? And really start getting excited and looking for those possibilities of how you can start to enjoy your company even more. What gifts and what gold can you mine and receive even more fully from exactly where you are? A way to kind of figure that out can be to ask yourself, what will you miss about being single when he arrives that you could more fully savor and enjoy right now before he does? What experiences could you create for yourself that would allow you to enjoy your company even more? So that's on the mindset level, and really go treasure hunting for those opportunities. This can be so delicious, so fun, so juicy, so like really reignite your own spark and your own passion for being a powerful single woman and all the opportunities you have to feed that in yourself, to feed your aliveness in new ways. Now, on a more embodied somatic level, what do I mean when I say open your body to love? It's to just recognize that we all carry hurts in our body from past pain, from trauma, from wounding, which turns into armoring. The armoring that denies us from experiencing the love that we yearn for. It creates the clenching, the contraction that closes us off, that cuts us off from the goodness and the pleasure of life that we could be receiving more readily and more abundantly. So it's about opening your body to love, is about noticing where you're stopping yourself from feeling and restricting your openness to life in any moment. And then stretching your capacity to receive in all ways, on multiple levels. What's here for me to receive that I wasn't previously taking notice of or available to? Rather than continuing to live within a very narrow bandwidth, which, by the way, will only continue to become more and more narrow when gone unchecked and unaddressed. So the remedy around this is really to start inhabiting yourself more fully, spending more time in your body, noticing when you're dissociated, disembodied, and coming back home, by breathing more fully, keeping your body supple and keeping your body open and fluid. Spend moments each day landing in the present moment with yourself, deeply and intimately meeting yourself by practicing being home, practicing being in the now, sitting still and really tuning into how your body feels, and just holding that space to witness yourself, to witness what is moving through you, noticing what sensations you feel, noticing in what ways you habitually close off to life and to love circulating through your body. What are all the feelings and emotions that are moving through you in any given moment? and really embracing and accepting exactly what is, allowing it unimpeded. And just be curious, like what needs healing? What needs my attention? What needs more acceptance? What have I been too busy? What have I been too busy? What have I been moving too fast to feel, to notice, to be present with? And then really looking at how you can start serving your fullness and nourishment by giving yourself those experiences that really feel good to you on the deepest level. Asking yourself, what do I need now? What would open me just a little bit more in this moment? What would feel good? What would feel most nourishing and pleasurable to my system, to emotionally, sensually, mentally, spiritually? Really meeting, like really just getting more intimate, more in dialogue with your soul. Being single is a fabulous time to just fall even more madly in love with yourself and your soul by really dropping in these ways. And then the last piece to this, once you've kind of cultivated that spaciousness and that presence and that intimacy within, a fun practice to bring in on the somatic level is to ask yourself, how will I feel? How will I feel in my body and in my heart when my man finds me, when he shows up? And really start to practice going there on a somatic level as often as you think of. Because that's part of what can unconsciously, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but there's a way that the fulfillment of our desires, whatever they may be, are on some level going to be unfamiliar and foreign and unnatural to us, which is why I say to practice it on the somatic level so that your system can acclimate and accustom itself and assimilate what that could feel like. And in doing so, you're opening that gateway to be more available to receive it. So it's like your signal starts to recalibrate and become more magnetic and open energetically. And then lastly, our final step is to honor your longing. We have such a low, just as a society, we have such a low tolerance for being with our desires, being with our longings, without jumping into action to make them happen already. So instead, I'm inviting you to slow down that process and almost reverse it. Do a 180. Instead of projecting yourself out, getting ahead of yourself, jumping into action and doing and fulfilling that desire to fill a hole as fast as you possibly can, and projecting the fulfillment of it onto a person in this case. Slow that down and really start telling yourself the truth about exactly what you want. And as you're doing that, know, like you're fueling the desire for exactly what you want in the privacy of yourself. Your desire for the relationship of your dreams lives in the depths of your body. So you want to get to really know what that feels like on a somatic, visceral, embodied level. Let yourself really yearn for it without having to do anything about it right now, which is, believe it or not, the very thing that makes your signal and your magnetism that much stronger. It's almost as though the power of your longing, when you can really be with the yearning, lean into it, be with what might feel like a deep ache at times. That is where the power of your longing can almost start doing the work for you. It might eventually be time to take action. You might feel that organic inspiration bubble up. But the idea is to let the desire itself, the flame, the spark, the seed of your desire, the turn on that lives inside of it, the potency, organically open you from the inside out, which we tend to diffuse when we're into the getting it done, making it happen. Let it organically open you and move you and inspire you to make choices naturally that are in alignment with that. You'll act, and to trust that you'll act on it when you want to and when it's the perfect time, without having to figure out what needs to be done. Or you might be so content just sitting in the pleasure of being single again after what I've shared, and the deliciousness and fullness and the richness of really growing your desire and letting it expand within you and feeling turned on by it and really intimate with it, that you may not need to, you may not be compelled to take action, because you'll start to notice how the taking action actually can start to diffuse the potency of your desire versus just sitting in it, sitting in that flame, sitting in that fire of it, and letting it work you and amplify your magnetism. So in these ways, when you recalibrate yourself in these ways that I've shared, you basically naturally and effortlessly become congruent with receiving what you want. And as a result, the external circumstances begin to match that. They can't help but match that. So in this way, you might just happen to attract a partner without even dating, simply by going more deeply into yourself, if that is what you desire. So enjoy exploring one or all three of these ways. And I would love to hear how this lands for you, what ahas you've had, what you're inspired to practice and play with. And you've got the weekend to take some extra time and really set something in motion for yourself based on what you're taking away. If you have questions, feel free to circle back, pop them in the comments, get in touch with me, and I would be delighted to circle back and take it even deeper. Any clarifications, any challenges, any support you need as you're taking this and applying it in your own life. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend, ladies, and I will be back next week. Ciao. Much love to you.